Hi guys, time for a model update, and first of all some news. Let's get into some little bit of news, I think. So obviously for the past couple of weeks, some of you might know that for the past couple of weeks I've been going through some real crap, like real absolute shite. And it's been one thing after the other. It's just been, every time I've been getting on my feet, something's come along and kicked me in the nuts, basically. I won't go into the details of it, but yeah, I'm getting things back in order, or trying to get things back in order. And for the past couple of weeks as well, I've been thinking about what to do, about where to take things and where things should go. So with that in mind, I'm going to let you know right now, my model update is coming to an end. At the end of this Red Dwarf scratch build for Lou, there will be no more my model updates. All the my model update videos on my channel will stay. They're not going anywhere. But this will be the finale of Red Dwarf will be the final episode of my model update. The reason for that is because basically I'm trying to produce better quality videos. I'm trying to come up with making the best quality videos I can for you guys. And basically I've decided to change the format of my model update. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with a new range of videos, and they will be complete builds. It'll be, one episode will be a build from start to finish, and it'll be done in one video. So, and I think that's a better way to go. You know, it's been good doing it sort of like these sort of weekly sort of updates, but honestly, when it comes to actually recording and putting all this stuff together, sometimes you lose material, like what's happened this week. I've actually lost several videos. That's my fault, I accidentally deleted them. But yeah, I've decided that what's going to happen now is I'm going to make an amalgam video, and that'll be for whatever it is that I'm building, whether it's a car, a tank, a spaceship, whatever, it'll all be in one. So that's that, and part of the problem of that has actually been due to the fact that of the way YouTube works, to be honest. And I am still getting used to YouTube beta, but it was a case of I couldn't copy videos across to another channel. I couldn't change the name of my channel without changing the name of all my accounts right across Google. So it just became frustrating. So I've decided now that my model update is going to come to an end. I'm going to do something else with it. It'll be called something else, and but there'll be more of that when it comes about. So that's that. Getting on with the Red Dwarf scratch build. There was an entire week whereby literally I had spent all week building a base for Red Dwarf, and at the end of the week I looked at the base and it was just like, that's crap, and I'm just putting that in the bin. So that was an entire week's work just gone. But it was just like, that's where there was lights all over it, there was bits all over it, and it just, I tried to build a base that was thematically linked to Red Dwarf, and it was garbage. I'm going to say that outright. It was. But at the end of it all, I looked at it and it was just like, that is a pile of crap. So I shoved that into the bin. Well, not necessarily into the bin, but into my bits box. And so started again and decided to do something a bit more clean, a little bit easier looking, something that complemented the model but didn't try to outshine it. So yeah, that was another week of video that you're just never going to see because it was garbage. But that being said, there's plenty to talk about, so let's get on with my model update. Moving on. So I've got the rear engine rings together, and they just test fitted into place. Everything's looking fine. It was a bit of a trick doing this, mind. I've got to be honest though. There's bits of detail that have been chipped off and whatnot. Couldn't be helped. It wasn't that easy getting this thing in. I'm going to say, you might think that it was just a case of just drilling 6 holes and putting it down, but it really wasn't that simple. I wish it was that simple. But yes, it's that's the rear engine rings, and I mean, this is solid. I was always worried about how solid this thing was going to be, but actually this is a really strong, let me just take this off. This is just a really strong construction, so it's a lot more rigid than I thought it was going to be. Because I was really concerned about these pipes, you know, because you get a piece of brass rod and it's quite easy to bend, but once you put them in this sort of arrangement with these rings supporting it, it makes quite a solid structure. So yeah, I'm gonna get on with doing this now. I'm gonna paint these up separate now. I'm gonna give this a coat of primer and whatnot, and then give it a coat of red, and then look at fitting it into place. Okay, so I've got my little torch here and my glue paint. And basically now I'm just looking over this model. I'm sitting here in the dark because I'm just going around and looking for any little areas where I can see a little bit of light coming through. So yeah, basically I'm just sitting here like this and just getting all these small areas. Done. But yeah, I have to sit here like this to do this because in normal light you can't really see any light leaks, so you kind of have to just go around it and keep going over it like this. So I'm not trying to, in pitch black you probably will still see some light leaks here or there. Hopefully not, or if it is, it's not going to be that many, but yeah, so I'm just going around it doing all this little spot at a time, because the thing is, every time you do one, it's like, right, you've got those done and you're sure they're done, and then you go back to it, go back to the next day and oh look, you'll notice it's back there again. So yeah, you've got to keep going over and over and over it, but it's it's getting there, and like there's not many compared to how this was a couple of weeks ago when I started doing it. You just compare the two. There's hardly anything left on you for light leaking. I've also unmasked that one there, this light source back here, just to see how bright that looks, and I think it's great brightness. I think that's exactly what you need. It doesn't need to be this super intense, but because it's not a super intense bright light on the ship. It's just a sort of this glowing dome. So yeah, I'm gonna uncover that one. There's one up the top here. That's going to be done, and the ones on the other side. But yeah, I'm gonna get this done. You can see where I filled in these areas up here as well, across the top. I've gone back in and redone that. So yeah, it's just sort of tidying up a little piece at a time now, doing one thing, moving on and going over it a piece at a time. So hopefully now it won't be too much longer before I can give this another coat of red over the top of this, and then start working on the final paint. I'm sorry about the noise at the moment. I've got a fan on because it's quite warm here, and it's quite humid as well, so I've got a fan on to try to keep some air flowing so I can breathe. I think breathing is quite important. Back once again working on the asteroid. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the final paint on this and get this all finished up, and for that I'm mixing up some sort of deep chestnut brown, and I'm just going to mix this into the airbrush, and let's see how and all I really want to do for this, I'm going to mix this up. I don't want it too thick. I want it to be quite a thin paint, and what I'm going to do is try to get sort of a nice blend between the crevices and the peaks of the asteroid, and then all the sort of deep cavities as well. and then what I'll do is I'll go round it then and dry brush over the edge of of each crater with sort of a light grey, just to make it stand out a little bit more. Hopefully, let's try this on a piece of scrap styrene. Nope, that's way too thin. That's why we test. Like that was like water. It was like it didn't bother even putting paint in there. I don't want it too thick though. I mean, you know, but it has to have some consistency. Right, let's try that. That's more like it. So, oh, more noise. That's exactly what I need. So let's come in here. And you might be able to see that going in there. Like that. I don't want to get it too intense. I just want to just sort of give the impression. So that might be a bit strong. Oh, I don't know. There we go. So I'm going to go around and get all this shaded up now and get it all painted, and we can move on with other things. So what I'm doing now is I've got a lighter shade of brown in here, and basically I'm just going around it to just blend, because the colour itself that I put on, the chestnut brown, is quite red, and there's a lot enough red on the model as it is. So I think I'm going to just use this just to get a little bit away from the red colouring. And basically this is just a brown that's more sort of in the sort of greenish range, I suppose. It's still red enough to be, you know, brown, but it's got more of the green tint in it. I think it's actually really helping a lot with not just killing the red, but it's certainly blending a little better. I don't want to go too much because I don't want to take away the sort of the spatter effect on the rock. I still want that visible. It doesn't matter if, you know, but I eliminate some of it because, you know, it's an asteroid. But the spatter effect, it's okay for it to be sort of settled down. And I knew that was going to happen anyway, so it's not like it's a surprise. But I think it's I think, you know, it's not far off. They need some highlighting now. The question is where to stop, and I think that's not too bad, you know. I think I'm going to stop there. I'm going to switch to grey. I'm going to switch to grey, and then I'm going to do a little bit of a highlight on it, and hopefully that should be done. And there you go, that's the asteroid, and I think that's pretty much finished off. You know, it's got the dry brushing on it, it's highlighting all the edges. It looks really good, I think. And you can still see some of the speckle painting that was done earlier on. Well, I say earlier on, a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, it's got enough variation in there, so it looks like, you know, asteroid. It's got some colour variations. But yeah, I think that's pretty much as good as it's gonna get. So this is now ready to apply to the model. So the rings are all fitted together and glued and everything's bonded and it's solid and it's bright red, very very bright red. It's extremely bright red. Yeah, I've got to knock that down, but that's nothing. That's easy to do. But yeah, it has got to be sort of taken back a bit because it's just like this really sort of bright, vibrant cherry red, which is it's a beautiful colour, but it's just not what I need. So, but I'm going to let this cure overnight now because it's had a good couple of coats. So yeah, I'm going to leave this cure, and then I can look at fitting it to the model and also look at weathering it back and just taking some of the vibrancy out of it, you know. And I'll do that by, I'll make up another red which is not quite as harsh, oh, not harsh, but not as rich. And then I'll go over that, and it'll just add this sort of paler red to it. It'll just pull off the vibrancy just a little bit, so that it'll be a little bit more pastel. So one of the other things that I've been working on is this, and this is going to be for part of the base. I'm not going to do anything fancy for the base. It's probably just going to be sort of a square, maybe with some chamfered edges. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be anything fancy, but I made this to go on top of the base, and this is a copy of the Jupiter Mining Corporation badge. It says there, Red Dwarf, Jupiter Mining Corporation, and I've done it in relief. I built it as a 3D model and printed it out, and all I've done here now is I've just given it a priming, a light sand over, and I've got some squadron putty. And what I've done is I keep these are my old knife blades. I don't throw them out, I just put them in the pack. Once this pack gets full, then I'll throw it out, but normally I keep them, and I put one of the old blades back in the knife, and I've just gone in through the end of the filler there, opened up the cap, just dipped it in, and I've used this as an applicator, so it gives me a nice sort of really clean application. It really just sinks into all the pits and just scrapes off all the rest. So once this is dry now, I can give it a bit of a sand, and then just a light sand, and then I can go back over it with another primer. I think what I'm going to do for this, because this badge is supposed to be red and black, and I think because the model is vastly red, there's going to be a lot of red on the model anyway, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this in black, and I'm going to do all the relief in silver. And I think that's going to make this look pretty snazzy. So yeah, I'm going to leave this filler set up, then I'm going to give it a sand back, and then crack on with that. But that really is, you know, looks quite good, I think. What do you reckon? Okay, so the light leaks have now been taken care of, and I've gone back over it with the red just to eliminate where I just spotted the light leaks. So it's all now all sort of a normalised red. There's a little bit of overspray in the trench there. That's not a problem, that's easy touched up. But it's now all getting ready now for the final paint. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave this set up properly, because what I'm going to be doing is going over it with small pieces of masking tape here and there, and then going over it, then doing some carding, and it's going to be a lot of there's going to be a lot of weathering going on to it. there's going to be some heavy sooted black for the nozzles, and we're going to be doing some inverted weathering then. So we're going to be doing some highlighted panels as well. So it's going to be highlighted panels, there's going to be weathered down panels. There's just going to be an awful lot of detail in the paint job going over the top of this. It's not going to be, you know, any sort of real pattern. It's just going to be sort of putting it on, you know, breaking up the shapes and just sort of deciding, because really and truly the paint scheme for the studio model is literally red paint and powder, and I'm going to do a bit better than that. So yeah, it's going to be a thorough paint job. There's going to be multiple tones of red on here, and also there's going to be weathering as well. Now for the weathering, for stuff like the carding, how I'm going to be doing the carding is obviously, you know, just sort of holding a piece of paper there and carding. But what I try to do is try to weather it and card it from two directions. So I'll be carding it this way and this way as well. And what that'll do is it'll have the weathering sweep from front to back, but also top to bottom as well. So it'll add some sort of artificial shading and whatnot. Plus we're gonna be I'm gonna be doing again some highlighted panels just so that it breaks up the shape a little bit more. So we start off with this normalized red, and then this is going to be taken down with the carding, and then it'll be picked back up again with some highlighted panels. So yeah, I'm going to let it set up properly, and then I'm going to crack on with it. So you can see I've started masking up the front end for the beginning of the paint, and basically I'm not trying to do too much with the panel detail, because if you're going to sell really big scale, one of the tricks is to actually make it few and far between. So because if you put like loads of detail on there, it'll just become really busy. So breaking up the surface, breaking up the panels, but keeping it nice and simple, and that should sell on the scale. Now what I'm going to do here now is I'm actually going to do the nose first, and then I'm going to do the body and then the back, and that's how I'm going to work it, and I'm going to do it in stages. So the next thing now is to just mix up some paint and to start painting over the surface. And what these are going to do here is preserve the red underneath, so that what's going to happen is that when this starts getting a little bit darker in shade, these will still be a nice bright vibrant red. So that's what I'm going to do now, is I'm going to mix up some paint and then make a start with some carding. So I've made a start by dirtying up the vents, and now what I'm going to do, I might go to frame here, I don't know, but yeah, I'm just going to start off doing a bit of carding, and I'm just going to come in, and what I'm doing, just lay the paper on where I need it to be and aim for the paper, because like that can happen, because it's a particularly thin paint. So and then you just get this nice sort of faded look. So I'm going to keep going with this, and I'm just going to pick areas. There's one. And keep doing this all over the model now, and hopefully we should end up with a nice feathered, weathered look. So it has officially begun, and yeah, I think that's starting to say 3 million-year-old spaceship now. Obviously, I'm going to leave this masking tape on while I carry on doing some of the other highlighting panels and whatnot. But then I'll take that off, and then we start working up the ship, and then we keep going over it again and again and again until I'm happy. So yeah, so let's get this finished, because the front end there, that's pretty much the first go at the final paint job. So there's a lot more to happen still, but that's the first part of the process underway. Okay, I didn't mention this earlier, but I thought I should mention it now. As I'm going over the model and I'm starting to highlight and add all these, all this weathering and whatnot to the start of the paint job, I'm not actually using flat black for this. What I'm using is XF85 rubber black. And the reason is that if you look at the two there, you can just see on the caps there sort of a bit of a difference in the colour. To me, rubber black is far better at doing sort of grime and soot. I will be using flat black, but not just not for this sort of thing. I just find that this sort of charcoaly colour that you get from rubber black just emulates, like I said, grime and soot. It's a preference thing, you know, but I just feel like rubber black looks better for what I'm trying to achieve, whereas with flat black it would just be a straight, you know, just literally what it says, flat black. It would just be that on the side of the ship, and it would be a bit harsh. And yeah, like I said, I will be using flat black, but that will be for, you know, sort of really hard spots where I want things to be really, really dark. But as for the rest of it though, all the soot and dirt and grime and everything, I'm going to be using the rubber black for that, just because it just takes it off, that edge off the black, and it stops it from just ending up being muddy, really. So yeah, I just thought I'd point that out. So I've got things quite low level lighting here, and you can see I've started adding the windows to the top section. And basically the process is no more complex than I've got my X-Acto here, and I've got a straight edge. For this I'm just using a piece of styrene, and I'll just put the styrene on, and I'm going to try to not cock this up. And yeah, I'm just going over with the back edge of the knife, and I was going to do it in streaks, but actually this is so easy to do that you just sort of point in the edge of the knife into the model, and it just opens up windows like that. So yeah, and just keep going over the model until that's done. I'm only going to do the top section here, really, because this sort of section is done. There are other bits that need doing here or there to the model. So, but yeah, just as a test out to see if the method's going to work, and it looks fine. You know, if I just tilt that over a bit, you can see it looks great. So yeah, that's not going to take me as long as I thought it was going to take, which is great. That's good news. So yeah, but now yeah, I'm just going over the model now and picking points here or there that need sorting out, little bits here or there, tidying it up. I've got to get those damn forks done. I've got to get the front forks done. Got to get them done. They sanded, they smooth, they're ready to go. All I've got to do is just build them. But for now, yeah, I'm gonna crack on with just sorting out all the little bits that need sorting out on this, and hopefully we're looking, you know, a couple of days now, and Red Dwarf will be all together and ready to go. So I thought I'd come in here quickly just to show you how the paint job is looking. Yeah, there's a few more things I've got to do to it here and there, but overall I'm quite satisfied with the way it's going. I've got a couple of different colour reds on there. It doesn't look it, I know, but there are a couple of different colour reds on there. There's some more brownish colours on there. Plus I've also gone over it and given the edge a sort of a greyish dry brushing. It's difficult to see in this lighting, but there we are. If I turn the model on that it is using, you should be able to see more of that detail there, and as I turn it, you should be able to see, you can see like this area here is a darker red This is darker, that is. So you can see that there are these points on the model that are a different tone, plus all the shading and the painting and everything as well. So it's not looking too bad. It still needs work, but it's all, every little bit is adding up now. So yeah, I think it's looking okay. So that's going to do it for this model update. Yeah, there's really, honestly, it's getting really close to finish now. So the final paint's gone on, or going on. I'm uncovering windows. The rings are ready to be fitted. I fitted them once, but I took them back off because it was just like, you know what, there's other things to be done first. The fork's got to be done, but they're going to be delicate, and I've been putting them off, and the reason why I'm putting them off is because there are other things to do on the model, and it's easy to move the model around, and I don't want to get them knocked or damaged or anything like that. So I'm leaving them as late as possible, but I can't leave them much longer. They've got to be put together. So there's that. But the asteroid is done. That's ready to be fitted. There's a couple of little details I know have got to be put on the model. I know there's pipes that's got to go on the model. So yeah, there's other work that's got to be done to the model as well. But yeah, we maybe another week of work to Red Dwarf now, and that's it. So I'm going to leave that there and say, if you've enjoyed this model update, feel free to like and comment on this video, subscribe to this channel. But until next time, I'll see you later, guys.